Welcome to the DCC Museum.
Hi and welcome back at the museum. Today another interesting shipment came in from Japan. It is a Japanese ITTS box, at least we bought it in Japan. It is the fourth ITTS video box that we know in existence. One is in the Netherlands at a fellow DCC collector. We have one here at the DCC Museum, and we knew of a third one at the Philips Historical Products in Eindhoven. So this is a pretty rare find. What we're hoping to find is not only an ITTS box, but hopefully a Japanese ITTS box. Because theoretically we have seen tapes that have Japanese characters that don't display really well on our European version of the ITTS box. And we, like I said, theoretically thought of the possibility that a Japanese or a Korean version, because we also have a Korean tape, would display it differently on a Japanese version of the ITTS box. We bought it, came in today. We will unpack it, test it with you, and go over the details. In a different auction we also found the Japanese tapes, so we will unpack them as well. As far as we know, they don't have any ITTS information. This is also unique, a manual that came with this version of the ITTS box. It's in English, so we will make that available. It says DCC video box for instructions. Something we don't have as well at the museum. And here it is. DCCS video box. Philips Eindhoven, the Netherlands, made in UK. So it looks like a European version. This one did not come with a power supply, that straight 6 volts, so we can actually use that. So we will hook it up and see what happens next. So we put it on the bench as a little test. It works best with a second generation DCC recorder, that's how we find it. So we have used a DCC 91, the ITTS box on top, and a sample Philips monitor so we can use the SCART out. Let me show you the connections. We're using the digital out to what they call here electrical in. Voltage, of course, you can choose electrical or optical if you want to use a optical in. We're using the SCART out to a PAL monitor. There is a switch between PAL and NTSC. Of course, there are Super VHS and regular analog connections. And the monitor is a Philips PAL monitor, like I said. Okay, so let's turn the monitor on. We're going to use a Toby Keith tape to test it, as we know that this has lyrics. Okay, so we have album and track listing. So if we press lyrics, okay. So we can already see that this is a different model because we have information here that we usually don't see. So the ITTS information and lyrics are displayed. Like I said, this is not on our ITTS box. This could be some form of code, so it's definitely a different software version. Okay, so we know that that works. So let's get the Japanese and the Korean tape out. These are the Supertramp tapes that you have seen in previous videos. The difference is that this is says Japanese Supertramp demonstration DCC and a Korean one. So let's start with the Japanese one. Okay, so we have the same results as with the other European version we have. The characters of the Japanese version don't display well because this box can't handle Japanese characters. So you see the menu is there and you can actually go through the menus, but you cannot change it to a different language. Interesting, KPMG, Philips, Ronald Lindos and Thierry Mans. So either there's something wrong with this tape or there is a different version of the ITTS box, we don't know for sure. Let's try the Korean version. My guess is we would have the same results. So this is a little different. It shows the English version, which we were able to see at our original DCC box, and I'm assuming this is the attempt to go through Korean. So if we scroll through the language menu and say enter, it will allow us to switch from English to Korean. And then it flips it, but still the characters are not displayed correctly. Interesting, so the tape does have Korean text. As you can see, it'll try to do the lyrics of the Supertramp tape. Because if we go back to English and select lyrics, now you can see the English language. So that's a little disappointing, but again, this was based on a theory, so the tapes handle the same way. The box is actually a copy of what we have here at the museum with a slightly different software version. Let's open it up and see what's inside. So we already know that this is based on a teletext decoder. And next time when Jack Houtsmith gets here, we will extract this software from the ITTS video box that we have here, compare it with the original one that we have at the museum on display, and see what the differences are. In the meantime, we're going to open up the 3 tapes and show you what we got. So we bought these in Japan as well. These are from the Victor label, very unique because we know from the last documentation of Philips that there are roughly between 300 and 400 unique Japanese titles. I would say we only have 50 here at the museum, so the search is still to be continued to find the remaining titles. We have tested, like we've shown these on ITTS information, if they actually have lyrics other than the album information and artist information. We do that with every tape at the museum. These are just what we call regular tapes, but that's how we found out that the Toby Keith album, among 7 others, have actually lyrics. That's it for today. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time.